everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, yesterday I finished up the Department 56 Sleepy Halloween vignette. I did the class on Christmas in July out at Millie's, and I also realized that I believe yesterday was 100 days until October the 31st, or 99 days out from Halloween, which means I've got a lot of work to do to get caught up. So what I want to do today is go through a very quick and very simple, yet very cool tutorial on the Ouija board and the Mystic Oracle little shop that comes from Department 56, along with a couple of accessories. So with that, let's jump right in. This will be a one-part series, which is pretty awesome. Just coming off of a 10-part series, this should be a lot easier. But let's jump in and take a look at what we're going to do. Okay, so this is going to be very, very simple, and I've already done most of the work. I just started and it just happened. So I'll show you what I've done. I'll show you the pieces and the accessories that I'm using, and then I'll explain how I've done everything. This is a very simple, very quick way to create a vignette, but I think with enough accessories, it's going to look pretty cool nonetheless. So the first thing that I want to show you, and this is the sleeve, and this is the Ouija, the Mystifying Oracle piece from Department 56. I did a review on this probably, I don't know, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, a while back. It's in the review section. Go back and watch that if you have questions or concerns on the piece. But this piece is what got me motivated to do this entire thing. I saw it, and I'm like, I can make a really cool vignette out of that. So that is the main house. And then I'm using two accessories. One is called Midnight Mischief, and that is two little girls, a little witch and a vampire. I'm trying to turn the box so you can see it. She's carrying a Ouija board, and the other's carrying a blanket. And I reviewed these the same time I reviewed the house with them. And so go back and rewatch that if you have questions or concerns on the pieces. And this one is Don't Be a Scaredy Cat. All of these pieces, every single one, and you can see kind of in the corner of the box, they're all sponsored by Hasbro, which is the maker of the Ouija board. And so those are the pieces that got me motivated enough to make this piece. And I knew in the very beginning I wanted to make it relatively small. So what I did is I went online and I bought a Ouija board. And so this is the actual board that comes with it. The old ones back in, when I was a kid, they were wooden and they were, I thought, at least bigger than this. This is pretty small and it's kind of a hard cardboard, kind of a card stock or cardboard. It looks like wood on the back and on the front, but that's the Ouija board that you get. And then it comes with obviously the planchette that is used to move around on the Ouija board. So I ordered that from Amazon, and that came in, and so I knew that I wanted to create the vignette based on using a bunch of props inside of that build. And so what I've done is I took I'm going to show you a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of 1 inch thick, and this is the green styrofoam. Okay, you can see the back here. And I bought this from, I think it was Lowe's or Home Depot. And so I cut this down based on the size of the Ouija board and the size of the house sitting on to the back of the Ouija board. And so what I've done is I cut a board out, and you're gonna see the grass and everything on there as well. But this front part of the board measured, the whole entire piece is 15¼ inches across, 15¼ across by 16¼ lengthwise. So 15¼ by 16¼ are the measurements for this board. So you can see it's relatively small in size. And so this piece is going to simply sit or be glued right onto the board just like that. So once it's all done, it'll all match and it'll kind of link itself up, and the measurements are pretty close. And so that's the way it's going to look when that's on there. A very simple yet very effective way to do that. So then I put the moss, and I remember I told you I got a whole box of the moss. So I used just a little bit of the moss, and I did the white PVA Craft Smart glue from Michael's or wherever you get it, and just kind of smeared a layer. I drew a line first behind the Ouija board, so I didn't want grass to come onto the board side. So I drew a line, pretty hefty, so you can see it. You may still be able to see it if you look close enough. Maybe not. The grass is, you can kind of see it right there. But that line was drawn. And so then I took the white PVA glue, smeared it all over this pretty thick, and then took the moss and laid that down over it, smashed it down, like you've seen in the Sleepy Halloween tutorial on putting the moss down. Same concept, nothing changed. Very easy, very simple. Once that had a little bit of a chance to dry, I didn't use the leaves that I bought that I used on the Sleepy Halloween. This is yellow and orange. If you remember way back when the channel first started, you'll have to go back and look. I did a tutorial on how to make your own flocking based on sawdust. And so I went to the local hardware store, I got a bunch of sawdust, and then I took some water and some paint and mixed all that together, put the sawdust in, stirred it up, put it out on basically a big tray, and let the sun take care of the rest and dry it up. Well, I've got a whole bunch, as you can imagine, of orange and yellow left over, and it was out in the garage. It was right next to this project, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just throw some down there and see what it's gonna look like. So that orange and yellow is sawdust flakes that I did a tutorial on earlier when the YouTube channel was fairly new. And then I took the spray bottle or the isopropyl alcohol and wetted this entire thing, wet the entire thing down pretty thick to let it run through and break that surface tension like we talked about. And then I used the glue water mixture and coated this thing from front to, the grass area anyway, from front to back with the glue water mixture. And then put that out in the sun and let it bake for 4 or 5 hours, and it's crunchy. It's still getting crunchy, but it's crunchy enough to be able to place things on, just like the Sleepy Halloween. And before I did any of that, I took black paint and I painted every edge black. This was a prior project that I was going to use this board for something else, so I already had half of it black. So I just did the top edges around so you could not see any of the board should it not line up perfectly. And the bottom is still just plain old board. So that's the majority of the work. Honestly, and I cut this on the Proxxon to keep the lines really straight. So from the time that I cut this to the time that I painted it, put the grass on and everything else, honest to goodness, this took me probably less than an hour to do all of this. Now, obviously it sat out in the sun for 2 or 3 hours to cure, but the actual work was about an hour, maybe less. Now, I thought that I was going to maybe hot glue this down onto here, and I still may do that. I will likely do that. I promised my wife that I would also glue, if you guys remember, hot glue the planchette onto this so it has no way of moving and summoning a demon into our home, which would be really bad. We don't want that to happen. So I'm still debating if I'm going to hot glue that stuff down or not. So for a base, this is what you get. This is it. But I think it looks pretty cool even like that. It's kind of cool looking, and I do like the sawdust effect. But that's it. That's the entire base. And then I said, well, you've got to have accessories to make the base better, to make the whole vignette better. And so what I had envisioned is I have some of this spooky wrought iron Department 56 fencing. It comes with some of the crypts that I showed you. Matter of fact, the last crypt that I showed you, the 2017, comes with 2 pieces in it. So I wanted to use a couple pieces of fence. I love these Department 56 trees. They almost glow with just the yellow and orange. I love these. So I was gonna, put a couple of those. That's why I chose the orange and yellow sawdust to put down on that grass, is because really of these trees. So I wanted to use a couple of those. And then, we went out to, and then I wanted to use some miniature Department 56 or whatever brand Lemax leaves, fall leaves to put down, and then some bigger leaves that you can get at any craft store during the fall season, Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever, and the fall leaves, and just kind of sprinkle those around the corners of the vignette, and it looks pretty good. Well then, and I'm thinking, I kind of set all that up ahead of time and tried to see what it would look like, and it does look very quaint. It's very small. But it seemed to me like it was missing something. And as you guys hopefully know by now, the way that I do my vignettes and my village pieces, I try to get them kind of a step above that level, if that makes sense. And so we did some running around today, and we visited a few places. And one of the last places we stopped on the way home, just by circumstance, honestly, was Joann Fabrics, right? And we go in there periodically just to look around. It's a craft store, and my wife likes that, and I certainly like that and enjoy walking around those stores. And so we decided to go in there and see if they had any kind of fall decoration out. And lo and behold, I found everything that I was looking for. I just didn't know it, to finish this vignette, and I'll show you that stuff, right? So the first thing that I wanted to do, and I thought about this, and I actually ordered a couple of these off of Amazon. They haven't even shown up yet. They haven't been delivered. I think they're scheduled maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. But I thought it would be kind of cool to have a hand on this Ouija board, like a hand on the planchette. But I didn't want a normal hand. I wanted like a skeleton hand to have it kind of place and maybe hot glue onto the planchette. And this again is the planchette. Obviously this moves with hands on it, right? And so I would turn the corner and went down the Halloween aisle, and one of the first things I saw was this hand. And it jumped off the shelf and grabbed me right into the face and said, "You gotta buy me. This is absolutely what you're looking for." And so it fits this planchette almost perfectly. And so when you put it on the board and have this hand kind of on the planchette, it looks absolutely amazing. And I'll show you guys the whole video once it's all set up. You'll see another video of what it actually looks like complete. And I think you'll agree with me. This hand is absolutely perfect. So I saw this hand. This is a little bit different. Actually, I think it's a lot different than the two that I ordered off of Amazon. I don't think the ones off of Amazon had the two bones coming out from the hand. I think it was just the hand itself. And I don't think it was this curved. And this is a pretty realistic size hand, honestly. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So this was $7 and some change. The two are $6 and some change. May as well say 7. The two that I bought, you could only buy 2 in a set off Amazon, and I don't think they're like this. And they were also $7 with Prime, free shipping. And I should get them here shortly. But I don't think they had these bones, and I don't think they were curved like this. So great find on the hand. The next thing that I want to show you is I rounded the corner into a different aisle, and I found these little, I've taken them apart because I'm going to use them in the set, but they're hinged, and they kind of unfold and things like that. So it's a whole line of them. Every one of them's got a hinge. Well, I took the liberty of taking the hinges off, and then I'm going to use these. Oh, they're almost like tarot cards. They look like that anyway. And then I've got another free one here. Now these were a little more spendy. This was $25 for all of, and you get 2 for 6 of these. I kept these in the frames, or not the frames, but the hinges. You can see the hinges on the back, and you can see where I took the hinges off of the other side. So these are hinged, and so they're absolutely perfect for the Ouija board and what I'm trying to accomplish. As a matter of fact, let me pull the box up and show you some of the symbology on the box of the. I mean, you've got the couple of hands up there. You've got a hand here. You've got the sun and the moon, and you've got the sun and the moon on some of this stuff here, and some stars, and it just all fits. It's all made for really a Ouija board, it looks like. And so I saw that was $25. We did have several coupons my wife had on her phone, which helps to bring the cost down. And so I know we had 40% off of one regular priced item, I believe, and then a couple of dollars off of something else, I don't know. So we saved a little bit of money that way, which is always helpful. And then right above that, it was sitting there staring at me, I didn't even see it, is how crazy is this, right? I mean, just by circumstance, I'm working on this village most of this morning. I say most of this morning, but for an hour or so this morning, but I let it sit out and dry, and while it was drying, we went out running around, and I saw this. I mean, it is the Ouija, right? It's got with the Ouija boards kind of on it, and it kind of resembles that. Now I took a stand and just kind of put it on a stand so it stands up behind the house, and it looks really good. At least I think it looks really good. So once I saw those pieces, and that piece at Joann's, it's still so new. It's still got the price tag on it. Was $34.99, so 35 bucks. It's pretty big, and it's very heavy, and it's made out of solid, I mean, this is solid wood, and it's engraved. These are all engraved and cut into that. So it's a pretty robust piece, a pretty cool piece. So $35 wasn't too crazy. And then this is the piece, obviously we got 40% off. So you're talking already another, $17 off or something like that. So you're bringing the price down quite a bit on that particular piece. And so those I got immediately when I saw them and said, these will absolutely work. And so started putting all this stuff together, and it just looks amazing. So give me a second. I'm going to go set this back up since I disassembled it so I could do the tutorial on it, and then I'll give you a quick look at it, and then we'll go on to what's coming next. Give me a second. Okay, same place as I put the Sleepy Halloween, but you can kind of see the way it looks here as a vignette. I think it looks pretty daggone cool. I love the hand on the planchette. You've got Don't Be a Scaredy Cat down there. You've got the Midnight Mischief down there, and then obviously you got the Mystifying Oracle itself with the amazing Zelda sitting in there with the orange light. Kind of flavors the trees, and then you can see just how everything kind of fits together. And again, that's a 15 inch by 16 inch piece, the entire board. So easy to assemble, easy to set up. You can condense this any way you'd like. You don't have to have it this big. You don't. It could sit on an end table or a coffee table, or wherever, a small shelf. And so you can see how the fall foliage down there kind of complements the sawdust down there, complements the trees. And just a really cool overall piece. So very happy with how this turned out. Again, very simple, yet very elegant, I think. And so that's how you set up a small little piece with just one building and two accessories. Take you about a couple hours to get something like that knocked out. Okay, so hopefully you saw how simple that was really to set up. Just cut the size to match whatever you're working with. In my case, it was the size of the Ouija board. Set that up, cut it out with a Proxxon just for a very straight cut. You could also do that with a ruler and a hot wire knife. Anyway, you don't have to have a hot wire table to do that. You can do that other ways. But then the accessories really make the scene, right? If I didn't have the Ouija board in the back, if I didn't have those little accordion pictures that I've kind of disassembled and put out there, the piece or the skeleton hand on the planchette itself, it would be sort of a, I mean, it would still be nice. It's still a nice Department 56 building. It's got two very nice accessories, got a couple of nice trees and a couple of little fence posts there, and it would still look good, but not nearly as good as the accessories. And that's why I always try to put something from the outside into my displays and my vignettes when at all possible. You saw the Sleepy Hollow sign on the Sleepy Hollow vignette. You see the Ouija board sign and the little accessories that accompany that on this. And it just really makes it seem like it's complete. At least to me, it seems like it's complete. And I absolutely love the way it turned out, and hopefully you will too. And hopefully that gives you the encouragement and the courage to go out and buy a couple little accessories or find something from, you know, secondhand or wherever and just throw it into your diorama or your vignette and make it look even that much better. So what do we got coming next? Well, we've got the circus is coming to town, and that's what we're going to be doing next. And so with it being 99 days or so to Halloween, we're running out of time. I've got a lot to build and not a lot of time to get it done. So the channel's going to be, I'm going to be throwing videos at you every chance that I get. And so what I'm going to do, in addition to reviewing the crypt this week, I'm also going to try to review quite a few of my circus pieces so you're familiar with them. And so when you see me building the piece, you'll have already seen the buildings, and that'll go in the review section, but you'll see the reviews starting to come out for the circus pieces. Then we're going to start working piece by piece on this circus. It's going to be a fairly big vignette or small village, I guess I should say. It's going to measure right now, at least I think it's about 4 feet and some change in length and 2 feet and some change in width. So a little bit longer than it is wider. And then I think I'm going to have it sitting up on another couple of pieces of foam. So it's going to be pretty big with some pretty cool lights, I think, around the bottom of it. But that's all to come. That's what's coming next. The circus is coming to town, and we're going to do that. And then we're going to do some reviews on the buildings leading up and while we're doing that, so you're familiar with everything. It's going to go into that piece. So, hey, that's going to wrap this one up. A very quick, very simple tutorial on how to do a very simple yet very effective, very cool looking vignette for your house. And you can do that for Christmas or Halloween or whatever, Easter, you know, it's all the same concept. So, like always, folks, if you've liked the video, click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Approaching 1,500 subscribers, which just blows me away. I've had the channel for coming up on a year, so it's grown pretty quickly. And so I'm very thankful for that. I appreciate all the support that you're giving by liking the videos, sharing the videos, and subscribing if you haven't done so. So with that, we're going to wrap this one up and put it in the books. We'll be talking to you again real soon and real often. So take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.